From the Clark Ford Studio in Oxford, Mississippi, MBW Digital proudly presents the Oxford Exxon Podcast.
I'd say thanks for tuning in, but why am I going to give you a round of applause for something you're supposed to do, to be frank?
And now, here are your hosts, Chase Parham.
That broadcast school has really paid off.
And Neal McCready.
I deserve to be on TV.
Welcome to this Monday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal McCready, Clark Ford Studio. This morning, we'll talk a little Ole Miss baseball. Ole Miss falling to Kentucky 2 out of 3 over the weekend, winning Friday handedly against a Wildcats team that came into the weekend 2-10 in the SEC and looked pretty bad doing it on Friday. However, after a rainout on Saturday, Sunday doubleheader, a different story. Kentucky wins both sides of that one, 4-1, then 4-2. To take the series and push Ole Miss to 9-6 at the halfway point of SEC play. They certainly would have taken that, but they've got a weird way of going about it. So we'll talk about that a little bit. We'll talk about some basketball recruiting, and then we'll talk some Tiger Woods today on the program, as well as probably a few other things as well. So we'll get to that in a minute. Before we do that, we'll tell you about the Oxford Exxon and Blue Sky in Oxford. And also remember, 12 days away from the FCA breakfast that's on the Ole Miss campus at the Manning Center. That's April 27th. That morning, the Kessinger family is a special guest. This is a great program put on every single year. Craddock Ole has been the presenting sponsor for several years now. Scott and those guys do a great job over there. So you can get tickets, find out more information at OleMissFCA.com. And when you head on over to the Oxford Exxon, remember you get the lunch specials for $4.99. You get the ribs. Maybe you want to pick some up tonight. You get the Speed Pass Plus app, the Mobile Rewards Program, and much more with the Oxford Exxon and Blue Sky. And we're coming to you again from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are. Clark Ford is in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. Call that number. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what new Ford you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. If you think you're in the market for a vehicle, if you think you might be in the market for a vehicle soon, whatever the case may be, get in touch with Corey. Get a quote. Takes you no time. And it gives you a baseline at the very least moving forward, and it just might do for you what it's done for me and a lot of others, and that is pique your interest to the point that you end up going back to Clark Ford and on a great vehicle, great service after the sale, delivery options, all of those things. Corey wants to be your truck guy. He wants to be your car guy. He'll prove it to you. At the end of your deal, tell Corey that you heard about Clark Ford on the podcast. You'll save $500 off the already great bottom line. Clark Ford and Amory, 662-257-1900.
Coverage from the baseball series up at rebelgrove.com. Neal's 10 thoughts up at rebelgrove.com. Got a little of everything in that one yesterday. So find out more. Join. We do have a website. We have a message board. We have a community you could be a part of. So, again, for less than $10 a month, take advantage of that at rebelgrove.com. So
always very sane. Always.
Mensa-level thought, 24 hours a day from all parties. You get no spin. You get just the news. So with baseball, couldn't have left Friday night feeling any better after the way they kind of dismantled Kentucky. Kentucky looked like a team that was 2-10 in the SEC. Nick Mingione gets run in the first couple innings. Their head coach. It was just a kind of combustible night for the Wildcats. Ole Miss moving at that point, I guess, to 9-4 in the SEC with 2 games remaining against the Wildcats. Then the rain came. And going into the week, we knew there was a chance of rain over the weekend. And it's not excusable because Ole Miss did not play well yesterday at all. They just didn't. Offensively, they were not very good. But they really weren't good in the first game. That's kind of what I'm getting at. I don't know exactly how all these things work. I know that to play a Friday doubleheader, you have to get a waiver from the SEC in baseball. Softball, you can kind of do it on your own. But baseball, you got to get a waiver. And I think everybody has to be in on that waiver. I don't know this. I was told this by somebody who I'd usually trust, that Kentucky was not keen on going in on a waiver on Friday with Ole Miss. Again, true, not true, don't know. Was told that, just passing it along as we're having a Monday morning conversation.
Because it'd be a 2 9-inning games.
It would have been 2 9-inning games on Friday, and then you played the finale on Saturday at that point. Or Sunday, sorry. Okay. At that point, sorry. Gotcha. Yeah, you're trying to avoid the Saturday. So,
okay.
I don't know, again. But either way, that did not happen. And Saturday rain was going to happen all week. We knew that all week. And I know there's a lot of people going, hey, you got to start the game. Well, they never would have finished it.
There was no window to start that game Saturday.
They thought they had about a 2-hour window, 2.5-hour window to play it, and that 2.5-hour window turned into about an hour 15-minute window, which was not enough.
Because you would have had to get the tarp off the field and get the field ready and all of those things. You would have played 2 innings.
Well, and here's the catch, and here's where Mingione, to his credit, moved some things around a little bit. They weren't going to waste Zach Thompson in that game anyway. They ended up throwing him in the finale anyway to get what they deemed as Ole Miss's worst starting pitcher of the weekend going against Hoagland instead of McCasey. So they weren't going to waste Thompson in that game no matter what. They were going to throw the left-handed kid, Mason Hazelwood, that they did throw out there in that game anyway. But once it went to 7 innings, Kentucky got right back in that thing just because of the way things shake out. Because with Zach Thompson, you've got a potential first-round pick. You got maybe the best left-hander Ole Miss is going to see this season. Ole Miss does not hit left-handers well. They came into the week hitting right-handers 305, hitting left-handers 256, if I have that right off the top of my head. And the first game of the day was the one you had to win. You had to go win the game with Nikhazy on the mound, with Mason Hazelwood on the mound, and just gut it out, find a way to win that game in 7 innings, put the pressure back on Kentucky to let Thompson be perfect, and then go from there. And instead, Ole Miss doesn't get a runner to third base until the very last inning when Kevin Graham hits a pinch hit home run. They lose 4-1, just generate nothing offensively whatsoever against Hazelwood. I think they were 4 for 20 against him in the game or something like that. And again, I hate this because you always say a team doesn't have energy when they don't hit because they do look lethargic when they don't hit, but it looked pretty catatonic out there for a little while on Sunday morning in that 7-inning game. And then you get to the next one and they're rolling the ball out to Thompson, and you're in trouble at that point. It just kind of is what it is. I thought that the second game, and the message board's going crazy, and I get it because it's a bad series loss. They just lost a baseball game in the finale. They hit 2 balls that would have been home runs without the wind. It was a hard left-to-right crossing wind yesterday. Olenek would have hit a ball out. Gray Kessinger would have hit a ball out. Instead, both those got knocked down at the track. Kentucky fisted a ball over the right field wall because the wind was blowing that direction for a 3-run home run. Hoagland was pretty good yesterday. He struck out 8, didn't walk anybody. The curveball was much better yesterday. All in all, from a, hey, what do you take? Hoagland being better is a huge sign for this team in a positive way because they're scrambling for a third starter right now. Nikhazy was hit a little bit. He gave up 4 extra base hits, 2 doubles, 2 home runs, and a freshman's going to do that. Now, the other thing to take from yesterday is Ryan Olenek ran into the center field wall, had to be helped off the field, still having trouble with that hip. Mike had no update after the game other than it was the hip, and they'll see how it feels tomorrow. But I asked Thomas Dillard after the game because he ran over to him immediately to check him out, and he goes, yeah, he was hurting so bad he wasn't even talking. So we'll see where that monitors. Obviously, that'd be a problem for Ole Miss if Olenek missed any time whatsoever there. But, Ole Miss got to 9-6, and they got to 9-6 the very unconventional way of going 5-1 against Arkansas and Florida, and then going 4-5 against Alabama, Missouri, and Kentucky. So go figure. It's baseball, if you will. Small sample sizes too. We're talking about a 15-game schedule here, but
I'm just kind of letting you. I'm just letting you go ahead and put yourself out there. I'm just sitting here quietly.
But the back half is much tougher. They've got 3 road series instead of 3 home series like they had on the front half. They go to LSU where they haven't won since '82.
Heard that.
Yeah. They go to Auburn next week where they got to deal with Tanner Burns on whatever day they throw Tanner Burns. And then they close the season against a Tennessee team that beat Georgia 2 out of 3 over the weekend. I mean, I was great with some picks. I missed every single pick in every sport over the weekend. But actually, I said Brooks Koepka wasn't going to win. He did not win.
And he didn't.
He did not win.
He didn't win.
He had a putt on 18 to tie, but he did not win.
If you had the field versus Brooks Koepka, you got it.
Yeah. We were taking a lot of odds to get that pick,
yeah,
but nonetheless.
I don't know these chances there.
So, look.
You can't take that out of the weekend. You said that some bitch wouldn't win.
He did not win. Patrick Reed did not win either.
Nope.
So, 9-6 is.
Rory even make the cut?
Who?
Rory McIlroy?
He did make the cut.
Okay.
I mean, barely, and did not. He charged for one of those backdoor top 10s yesterday where you look at it 10 years down the line and go, oh, look. No, never.
Okay.
Never in the picture. He and Matt Kuchar really good at the backdoor top 10 when they're not in contention. So
Kuchar wears bad pants.
Bad pants?
Yes.
Thinking he's another outfitter?
Yes. He looks like an old man out there with his outfit.
Well, I mean, you see him take his hat off? He's like bald.
Yeah, but still, that's even more pressure to put better clothes on. Anyway, go ahead.
Just quick aside.
Okay.
We're going to go back to baseball in a second. That's one of the ways that you're kind of unlucky, and maybe it's the way Kuchar still doesn't go all the way and commit to it because he does wear a hat in his professional life and on TV every single day. When he has a hat on, you don't realize he's bald. Like you think, oh, that's a decent-looking dude. When he takes his hat off, it's whatever. You don't have that luxury. They know you're bald whether you have a hat on or anything else. Like there's no way to fool anybody depending on what you're wearing.
No.
Yeah, just a quick aside there.
Yeah, it's true.
But nonetheless, Tennessee beats Georgia 2 out of 3, and they do pitch it. Now, they can hit a lick at times, but that's not the easiest series in Knoxville to close the season. Tennessee, I don't think so because they're 6-9 at the break. Could be playing for something. It's possible as they play, but they're okay. They're not good, but they're okay. So this thing's pretty complicated. They've got to play better than they played in the first half. They got to be more consistent, but they do get to take a breath and go, we're okay right now. All's good. Right now, everything's fine. I mean, 9-6. They've been 9-6 three times since they had a record better than that in the SEC at the midway point. They haven't had a better record at the midway point since 2004. The 2004 team was 11-4. The 2001, 2002 teams were 10-5, and then they were 9-6 in 14, which won the West and went to Omaha. 2009 finished 20-10 and won the SEC along with LSU, lost to Virginia. And then 2008, and that's the one you got to avoid. That 2008 team was 9-6 at the break, but they were a bunch of head cases. They ended up a number 3 seed in the Miami Regional in Coral Gables. So
remember that team? Yeah,
that was a strange group. It's right there in front of them, but they've got to play better. I thought there were some positive signs, but when you're racing because of the non-conference schedule to 17, 18 wins instead of 16, 17, and whatever. You might be looking back at yesterday going, you really needed one more. You probably were never going to sweep that series, but there was no excuse to lose the series.
No, I'll give you a hot take. It's not meant to be a hot take. They're going to look back on this, I think, and say they let one get away against Alabama, let one get away against Kentucky, probably
maybe
let
Missouri.
one get away against Missouri.
Well, suddenly that's a lot of getting aways.
And that's a lot of getting aways.
Because that means you probably should have been 11-5, 12-3 at the 11-4, 12-3 at the break.
And I was going to say, everybody goes, well, of course, duh. But
if you stole one in Fayetteville,
right? So let's give them 2,
yeah,
and they'd be 11-4 right now,
and rolling.
And the second game yesterday wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
And I know everybody goes, every game matters. Okay, it's baseball. Every game, it is what it is. But they've put themselves kind of not behind the 8 ball, but in the vicinity of behind the 8 ball by giving games away.
At the break, Georgia winning the SEC East at 10-5. Vanderbilt is 9-6. Missouri's done a nice job when they are so limited offensively. They're 7-7-1 at the break. Tennessee 6-9. Florida at 6-9. South Carolina at 4-11. Ooh. And then Kentucky also at 4-11 after yesterday. The SEC West, Mississippi State leading it at 10-5. They swept Alabama over the weekend in Starkville. Texas A&M 9-5-1. They come to Oxford a couple weeks for double-decker. Arkansas 9-6. Ole Miss 9-6. LSU 9-6. LSU losing a series in Columbia, Missouri over the weekend. Auburn 8-7, and then Alabama at 4-11. So that is your SEC West as of right now. South Carolina, Kentucky, or Alabama would not be heading to Hoover. Please, God, let it be Alabama. That would be fantastic. Because Missouri is ineligible for the postseason, so they will not be going to Hoover.
Gotcha.
So one team already decided there before we even start the deal. Their baseball and softball teams got those one-year postseason bans for the tutor thing.
Yeah.
Let's punish the right people here, guys.
Yeah,
let's make sure we do the right thing.
Let's crack down on the stuff that really matters.
Yeah.
By the way, while we're on NCAA, this is a quick little deal.
Okay.
All LSU did yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, was say that we don't have the grounds right now to fire him with cause. That's all they said.
Yeah, they're avoiding a lawsuit.
Stop with they say it's a license to cheat, blah, blah, blah. Stop. Hang tight.
You still don't think he's coaching again?
I don't.
Now, there's a higher chance today than there was Friday.
Well, yeah, but it's still really small. All LSU said was, legally, we have to do something. And right now, we're not in a position to fire him with cause.
Also, Usually hand-raised guy is a very negative guy. I will say if hand-raised guy was in the room, he's giving raises to everybody in their PR because that was a glorious news dump yesterday.
Oh.
Sunday afternoon, right after Tiger Woods wins the Masters.
Minutes before Game of Thrones?
Yeah. Hey, guys, when do y'all want to push this button? Look at that leaderboard. Sunday about 4. That'd be good. Let's do that.
Is Woods still winning? Hey, let me know when some of those stories start to run. Hey, Game of Thrones still tonight? NBA playoffs going on right about now? Now. Hit the button now. Trust me. Just do it.
Yeah, the Friday dump is kind of overrated a lot of times now because everybody's always on their phones always. That's not doing any damage. Yesterday was good. That was a pro move yesterday.
You need other stuff going on. They had a big day of stuff in sports. And then with Game of Thrones last night, NBA playoffs going on all day, and Tiger Woods getting the Masters, that was the day to, hey, this isn't going to be all that palatable. Let's just throw it in there. Right now everybody's in such a good mood, no one's going to notice it. Boom.
And it didn't get the play that it normally would.
No, it was brilliant.
Because it was never going to make the front page of ESPN yesterday.
No, it was brilliant.
Because there was like 14 Tiger
I don't even think it made SportsCenter. They had 4 NBA playoff games after Tiger.
Yeah, they had stuff going on.
You didn't get there.
They'll hit it today.
I mean, all that was missing was LeBron saying something, and that's when you really drop it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, all good.
So they're giving some games away, and the bottom line is the second half of the league schedule's hard, and we're going to find out what they're about. That's reality. We're going to find out what they're about, and who knows? We'll see. You've covered them. I don't. They didn't catch a break with the weather, but some good teams make their own breaks, and so.
Well, look, I don't know how to quantify this all the way out because it's multiple teams over multiple seasons, multiple talent levels, multiple opponents, all that crap. But I do think it's a relevant sample size a little bit that they are 4-12 in 7-inning doubleheaders since 2010. I just went back 10 years when I was going through the media guide yesterday. Assuming the media guide is correct, it probably is, but I don't know. Obviously, I don't remember all these games. 4-12 overall in 7-inning doubleheaders since 2010, including the more major one, 0-8 in the SEC. They've been swept by Kentucky twice, Vanderbilt twice, I think last season, the year before, because I remember that it was in Nashville. And then Arkansas, the final day of the 2011 season, which kept them out of the postseason and kept them out of winning the SEC West.
I remember that.
Because Arkansas ended up there was a big log jam at like 14 and 13 wins in the SEC West. Arkansas won the West by a half game and knocked Ole Miss out of the postseason with a doubleheader sweep that day. And then Auburn did it to Ole Miss at some point during that run as well. So 0-8 in the SEC. I mean, from a managerial standpoint, the couple that I thought were interesting, and the Hoagland thing was only interesting because Mike's had such a quick leash on him all season. Just as soon as there's been a problem, boom, 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 get him out of there. That he left him in longer. Now, he was better than at any point all season, too. So, I mean, you have to factor that in, is that he gives up a win 8 and home run, and that was kind of it. He was pretty good otherwise. He gave him a longer leash. I think the one that sticks you is Parker Caracci did not pitch the entire weekend. Your best reliever didn't throw. And then you threw Tyler Myers in a game they were already losing 4-0 in the 4th inning of a 7-inning game in the opener. But in saying that, you scored 3 runs yesterday. You lost it offensively because you stranded 16 runners in 14 innings. That's why you lost the game.
Yeah,
yesterday.
if you're only going to score 3 runs in 14 innings, and one of those runs is going to come down 4 in the 7th inning of a 7-inning game.
And you probably win the nightcap yesterday, even with Thompson pitching, if it's a 9-inning game, because they were really squaring up balls the last 2 or 3 innings. They just ran out of time.
Yeah.
Cooper Johnson in the last inning, I thought he had tied the game. They had the bases loaded with 1 out, and Johnson hits a rocket to the right side, and the second baseman just snares it. And okay, you know what I mean? I mean, it's just one of those things. If the second baseman's played 2 feet over in either direction, that's a single. And
it's
there's
the first game that haunts them, not the second game.
Yeah, again, you just lost the game in the finale.
It's the first game where you got to hit that kid.
Yeah,
and you didn't, and
he wasn't very good.
And it was cold, and it was wet, but it was cold and wet for them too.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Anyway, we'll take a break. We'll tell you about Scripted Jewelry, scriptedjewelry.com. Go shop online. Go to the website. See what they have to offer. Somebody in Temple, Texas just recently purchased the James key ring in silver. You can do that, or you can find something else to personalize that perfect gift for someone you love. They've got new arrivals. They've got recent work. They've also got Mother's Day options. It's a mom thing. Now accepting orders for Mother's Day. The order deadline on that on April 25th. You got 10 days away. Maybe you get a little refund from the tax guy. You can use that to cover this Mother's Day gift with Scripted Jewelry. Again, turnaround times are great, and they work with you every step of the way to take care of you, and you can save 10%. Rebels10, REBELS10 in the coupon box for 10% off with ScriptedJewelry.com.
I'd like to welcome. No, sorry. We'll welcome somebody in a minute. We'll welcome some. We do have a new advertiser. We'll talk about that a little later. Guest join us on the Patterson and Earhart hotline. I was reading three things at once. I'm not skilled enough to do that anymore, Chase. Patterson and Earhart, attorneys at law. They specialize in personal injury law, real estate law, but theirs is a general practice that can handle any of your legal needs. If you think you have a legal issue, if you think you got one coming up, if you got something going on and you're just not sure about what to do about it, get in touch with Patterson and Earhart. They'll handle your case. They'll talk to you, not some paralegal. You'll get one of them then the same day, guaranteed. So whether you've been injured in a car wreck or have other legal issues, give them a call, 662-526-1992, or check out their website, pelaws.com. Your initial consultation's free. Warm weather is it's coming eventually. When it comes, so does the inevitable debate of sock or no sock with your loafers. So save your feet and your shoes from making their own impression. Step into spring with some no-shows from Dead Soxy. You really need to experience the difference a quality sock makes. Go to deadsoxy.com, enter the code RebelGrove at checkout, receive 30% off all orders, including sale items. These no-shows are the same quality you already love and enjoy with their traditional dress socks, and they come with a no-slip guarantee. So go to deadsoxy.com, check out the no-show collection, and remember to enter promo code RebelGrove at checkout for 30% off all orders. Also brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust is in Madison, Mississippi, has clients in more than 20 states, advisors in 3. What they do is they sit down with you and they provide detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much more. They treat investing like a commodity. Decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions, and regardless of your level of wealth. They just kind of sit down with you, find out what you're trying to do, what you want to do with your retirement, when you want to retire. They look at your expenses, and then they put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan just for you. To learn more about Pinnacle Trust, go to pintrust.com. It's PINN trust.com. Mention you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast. You'll get 10% off your first year's fee. I will be asking for questions for the mailbag here shortly. And the mailbag is brought to you each week by the Westin Jackson. You can restore serenity to your soul at Soul Spa inside the Westin Jackson. It's the ultimate luxury spa experience in downtown Jackson. They have personalized massages, signature facials, soothing body treatments, and much more on their extensive spa list. And then you can head over to Estelle Wine Bar and Bistro, sip on a creative craft cocktail, or enjoy their curated wine list. It's open for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and Sunday brunch. Chef Caden's mission is to connect guests with the community through local partnerships, so gather at Estelle tonight.
So on Friday morning, I got my hair cut at the blow dry bar. Went right in. Everybody keeps asking me, "Hey, was it really feminine?" No, it's a place where you get a haircut. I do not think they have orientations of any type. It was good. Had a good cut. I'm actually went ahead and made an appointment for the next one because guys that get haircuts, you can probably admit this. You can nod along even if you're not going to say it out loud and risk somebody making fun of you. You never know when a person cuts your hair for the first time what it's going to be like because they got to kind of get to know your head a little bit. Like there's like, you're still learning a little bit. And for a first haircut, I walked out of there and I was walking by. I talked to the person I've been dealing with for a while, Hannah, that I've been dealing with for a while over there, and I said, "Let me go ahead and make an appointment now." And she's like, "Really? You want to do it?" I said, "Yeah," because that was good enough to where I want to see what she does now that she's already cut it once. I think we can really get going now and get moving in the right direction. So good price, good cut there at the blow dry bar. Males can go in. You don't have to be female. They head to the blow dry bar right there on Jackson Avenue. Give them a call, make an appointment. You can even do it online if you'd like. You don't have to talk to somebody up Neal's alley. You can not say a word. But Peyton did my haircut. She asked me along the way, "You like this?" We asked a lot of questions. We went through the whole thing. So excellent experience there. again, voted best new business in Oxford for 2018, and it was a great experience. So take advantage of that at Blow Dry Bar Oxford. You can do it too. Again, book now online at blowdrybaroxford.com, or you just give them a call at 662-638-3310. So anyway,
I'm jealous.
I mean, you can go let them scalp you if you want.
I could.
You could. I know you do it yourself.
Yeah.
I can't do mine myself.
No.
Because I have this little double crown thing at the top, and if you cut it at all too short, you look like alfalfa when you get done. So you have to be a little careful up there.
Yeah.
It's all good.
I just have to have a fresh razor.
There was a couple girls in there getting blowouts while I was in there. So it was a little of everything. Full shop. So all good.
Getting a blowout.
Yeah. Austin Crowley commits to Ole Miss.
Yeah.
The basketball player, 4-star commit. For the Rebels, he was committed to Vanderbilt at one point.
He was.
Vanderbilt fired Bryce Drew. Ole Miss finally getting that son of a gun back after all these years. Crowley to the Rebels. What's he do for him? What's he like?
Well, he is. He can play any one of the three backcourt spots. He can defend any one of the three backcourt spots. He initially will probably be more productive on defense than offense. But I expect you'll see his game develop. I've seen some people say he's a one and done. He's not a one and done. The people that say that are clearly not watching enough NBA. He's not a one and done. In fact, I think he's the perfect sort of college player because he's probably at most a 3 and done. So he's a guy that can come in and really impact your program long term. He can play the point. He can play the 2. He could play the 3 in a pinch. He can defend any of those spots. He's very versatile. Good, very good player. Athletic. He'll be impactful immediately. And if Devontae Shuler were to stay out, Devontae's going to test the NBA waters.
He's not.
I fully anticipate he'll return. I actually think it's smart on Devontae's part because he hasn't played but 1 year of point. Go out and let the NBA guys give you some evaluation so you have some specific things to work on in the off season. I mean, you get the summer. Everybody thinks about next season. Yeah, the summer's when you put your work in. I think it's smart on Devontae's part because I think Devontae's going to be an all-SEC point guard next year. So he's going to get an opportunity to get legal feedback from the NBA. And Devontae's the one, more so than Brian. I said this in 10 Thoughts, but more so than Brian, I think Devontae's the one that could play in the NBA.
So Sean McNeil commits to West Virginia yesterday.
No surprise.
The shooter.
I think his girlfriend played a role in that, and if you've seen her, you would understand why you would let her play the role.
You're not usually a fan of the high school relationships going into college and hindering your.
I do not fault him for letting that carry on.
You don't.
I get it.
Okay. Bit hard for 18-year-old Neal McCready to go somewhere else.
18-year-old Neal McCready would have done whatever she asked him to do.
Gone anywhere.
Yeah.
Could have gone to Transylvania and seen Jay's alma mater.
Yep.
Okay.
Been hard to walk away from that.
Think so?
Yeah.
Okay. How'd you see her?
I have.
Because you're not a creepy human, so how'd you run across her?
She is on his profile page.
Okay.
Yeah, I have not gone through his photos.
You haven't social media stalked Mr.
No,
McNeil?
I have not. But I've seen the one photo, and that's all I needed to see.
Okay.
God was good to her.
Okay, sure. Where does this? What's this do with LSU and Kadeem Sy? What's going on there? You think?
My guess is nothing. We'll find out soon. He visited Pitt over the weekend. He comes to Ole Miss. No one's coming this weekend because it's Easter. The weekend after that, Joey Brunk's coming in between.
Butler, big man transfer.
Yeah, in between, Sy's going to come in. Ole Miss wants him. My anticipation is that Ole Miss will get him. I think Ole Miss's decision will be if they can get Brunk. And I don't know that they can, but if they can, do you take both of them? I'm not sure that everybody's on the exact same page there.
Is the Brunk kid good? What's he do for Ole Miss if he were to show up?
Gives them some depth in the post. Gives them a guy who's played a lot of big-time basketball. Gives them some rebounds, gives them some physicality. He's not going to score a lot for you, but he gives them some depth. He for him it would be an opportunity to play at I think it's either going to be IU or Ole Miss, and so it's Big Ten, SEC. He's going to get a chance to prove himself. He has had some off and on outings against that caliber of opponent, but I don't know how much of that is because of what Butler did or whatnot. He obviously is good enough to have this level of interest at this point.
That's fair. You wrote about this 10 thoughts. We'll talk a little Tiger Woods on the show. I got to set this up a little bit with there's the golf portion of this. There's really just the human portion of this.
The human portion of it is so much more fascinating to me.
Yeah, the golf standpoint. And I guess kind of I want to do it because I kind of want to get the golf out of it before we get into the human part. I watch way too much golf, way too much. The way Neal watches the NBA probably doesn't hold a candle to how much golf I watch.
I think that's safe.
Because it's so much more of a background sport to where it's just on my TV. I mean, I watch European Tour in the morning. I watch the LPGA because, frankly, they're more personable and more interesting at times, and they're human. They're hitting the same club you're hitting, so it's more entertaining from a hey, that's actually something I could do, but I couldn't do. Element to that. I do. I consume way too much golf media, podcasts, different things like that, because golf has become maybe the best sport when it comes to a podcast because of their access to players and long-form interviews, because you're not having to deal with teams and agents and people controlling messages as much. Golfers just talk to these dudes all the time.
Yeah.
To where it's really weird because I've only been playing 3 years, I guess now, 4 years since high school. I played in high school, but not since then. And it's my favorite sport by a mile. So, Augusta, the Masters, and I think a lot of people got mad last week, and I think I misspoke a little bit. I think actually Will Bardwell had a column on this for whatever site he's writing some golf stuff for. And I misspoke a little bit. What Augusta National does so well is memories and nostalgia. That's what Will talked about. That's more what I meant more than even like manufactured drama or anything along those lines. You remember where you were for certain things. You remember where Phil, when he jumped in the air and winning his first major. There's something about bonds that connects you to the Masters for some reason, even if you're not a golfer like just casual things on.
I remember Nicholas in '86.
Yeah, it always has those stories because it's a familiar venue. We all know where it is. We know sort of some of the hole layouts, even if we're not fully following golf. You have an intimacy with that tournament that is not usually golf related, and then you have Calcutta's, and you have sort of an NCAA basketball tournament feel around it too, where people are gambling on it and betting on it, and for one day, depending on who's in contention, it actually kind of goes into the mainstream of sports like it did yesterday. There's all those different elements to that. So simply from the golf standpoint yesterday, what Tiger Woods has done is simply remarkable. The torque that it takes to swing a golf club, the torque that he used on his golf swing for decades, back surgeries, pill addictions, personal disasters from a PR standpoint and just an emotional standpoint.
His life fell apart.
Yeah, his life fell apart. And again, we'll get to the human in a second, but just from a golf standpoint, he had to rebuild it. He had a time not too long ago where he fell down in his backyard and could not get up. He had to wait on his kids to come out and find him to save him to get back in the house.
Is that spinal fusion?
Yes. He made the comment yesterday. He goes, my body's not the same, but I still have great hands. He goes, everything's got to be by my hands now. He goes, I have great hands. So that's when I knew I could play again because I had hands. He was eating the Champions Dinner the year after Danny Willett won the Masters in 2016, so the year that Sergio won it. And he told everybody in the Champions Dinner, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Can't get back.
Had to have a spinal tap. I mean, a spinal block, a nerve block, to be able to sit and eat that dinner.
Yeah. He said, I couldn't sit down. Think about that. In that kind of pain, and for a guy who doesn't need it for the legacy, doesn't need it for the money, doesn't need it for any of those sort of tangible reasons that you would need to continue to play golf or do whatever your career is, fought through a lot, even to the point of yesterday, having to get up. I mean, everybody kind of made jokes of it, but I think Tiger was serious. Had to get up at 4 a.m. yesterday to start his process of getting ready to play.
Yeah.
Had to go to the gym. Had to get on the treadmill and slowly work up to loosen everything up. There's a process now. It's not like when he was 23 and he'd just go run 2 miles and head to the tee and knock it around a bit. So from a golf standpoint, it was really, really cool. And again, he'd already won the Tour Championship, but it's different to win a major. It's different to win the Masters.
Yeah.
But just to see that from a golf standpoint, of someone being able to come back, because nobody really thinks about golf as a contact sport, and it's not by any means. But the recovery and the recuperation on what it takes to do that is still pretty incredible. And I guess this leads into this. I had a tweet marked. If Neil, I don't know how you want to go into this this portion of it. If you'd like to go there now, because this is kind of where I want to start the next portion of this.
Fun of a tweet?
Well, I just want to talk about it. Yeah, make fun's fine. I think it was a bad take, so I think that fits your premise.
Okay. The new feature starting today on the Oxford Exxon podcast, the crap take of the day. We'll hear it in a minute. It is brought to you by Scoopers Pet Waste Removal, LLC. Everyone loves their pets, but no one loves stepping in their pets' souvenirs, if you will, and tracking those souvenirs into your house is a nightmare. Scoopers will go into your backyard, apartment complex, or condominium and pick up what no one really wants to pick up. For $10 a cleaning, Scoopers will clean up your yard, and they'll do it on your schedule, whether that's weekly, bi-weekly, or a one-time service. No contracts are required. You can cancel at any time. If you have multiple dogs, it's just $2 for each additional dog. So if you own a home, a condo, or an apartment complex in Oxford and you'd like to deal with a lot less crap, call Scoopers at 662-506-2754 or simply send them an email at scoopers.oxfordpetwaste@gmail.com to get your cleanings scheduled today. Scoopers Pet Waste Removal, they're number one in your pet's number two business.
So, sorry, first time I've heard that, so I'm laughing too. All right, so yesterday, everybody's elated. Everybody, we'll walk you through some of this as we go. But I get on Twitter, and everybody's hammering one dude. And I followed this dude on Twitter. His name's Chris Jones. He used to be a profile writer for either Esquire or GQ. I'm not sure which one. I don't remember. But I remember really liking some of his work and following him on Twitter at some point. He doesn't tweet a lot, but he's now a producer for some Netflix series that's out. I forget what that one is, too. It seems like. But I'm going to read a portion of two of his tweets here that get the point, that got him quite riled up with a lot of humans yesterday as Tiger Woods was winning the Masters. He says, "A lot of people I love and admire root for Tiger, and I'm happy they are happy, but I'll never in a million years understand how people root for him." Goes up to say, "My mentions are a hellscape, but, I understand that Tiger's made an amazing comeback. I also think he's a bad person who's already won so much. I will always root for good people. And besides that, for people who haven't won, bad person wins again, I can't cheer for that."
See, he's that guy. I guarantee you he's an always/never guy.
No grays.
Just always. I'm always. I don't look too.
No one is all good or all bad.
Of course not.
No human.
And his fall from grace occurred in such a public manner.
Oh.
In such a humiliating manner.
I wasn't following golf then at all. I was not playing the sport. And I remember exactly where I was when you heard Tiger Woods has had a car wreck. It's how it first started. Yeah. A car wreck. You see,
Alabama-Auburn game.
He's knocked over the fire hydrant in his our neighborhood.
Because there was an initial report that he was badly hurt.
Yeah, he was on the ground.
Right.
Window shattered during the wreck. We'll find out later that a 7-iron shattered it from Elin knocking out the window because she had found essentially his burner phone.
Right.
A lot of Perkins waitresses jokes and followed and all those things. But, yeah, a guy who was Michael Jordan. I mean, revered is there's no other human on earth that can move a niche sport the way Tiger Woods can.
Any sport.
Yeah, any sport.
Any sport.
That's fair.
It's one of the things I thought about yesterday. Is there another human on earth in sports who could? And the answer is no.
No. Period. No. So he has this fall. He has back surgeries. He has this. He has that. I'm going to go through this because his timeline is insane. And if you really, really care about this, the Trap Draw podcast, which is a portion of No Laying Up, they did a full deep dive last year on literally every little nuance and minutia thing that happened to Tiger over this 2-year period because he wins his 14th major in 2008 at Torrey Pines on essentially a broken leg. He had a torn ACL and won the U.S. Open. And from that point, his life has been hell for 11 years until he started his kind of redemption is the way I would put that. He goes through this public, humiliating divorce.
Yeah. Lost his kids for a while.
Lost his kids. Couldn't play golf. Got the chipping yips where the most talented golfer in history, let's put it that way. The most talented golfer in history couldn't hit 10-yard chips without flubbing them and hitting them fat and sculling them off the green. I mean, he seriously would look like Neal out there chipping at different points. Multiple back surgeries.
A couple of good chips.
Addicted to painkillers where he gets a DUI because he's asleep in his car on the highway. Could have been killed.
Well, it tells you the type of pain he was in because he just kept taking the pills that night.
Yeah, just gone and gone.
Just trying to get the pain to go away.
Yeah, just anything imaginable to happen to someone of that nature, that level of public figure, that level of someone being essentially revered from a sports standpoint. To where
my point is that most people who go through a personal, I don't want to say scandal, but just a personal upheaval, it's pretty private. They don't have to have apologies on national television. They don't have.
Had a press conference at one point. I went back and looked this up yesterday because Brian Scott Rippey mentioned it to me, and I'd forgotten about it. Had a press conference with his mother on the podium about sex addiction.
Yeah. Yeah, come on, man. It's brutal.
Just awful.
Brutal. He knew his kids were going to see that one day. All that's brutal. It would have absolutely broken most people, justifiably. And it broke him for a while. Of course it impacted his golf game. Of course he's a human.
He had months where he just sat in his house, just sat on the couch.
Sure, he's depressed.
Didn't do anything, didn't move. And that's the mental toll and the emotional toll. And then the things that were amplified because of his other injuries. I mean, Bleacher Report points out just the injuries in order here. So he wins the Masters on the ACL in 2008, neck injury in 2010, sprained MCL and Achilles in 2011, Achilles injury in 2012, back surgery in 2014, back surgery in 2015, back surgery in 2017, and then wins the Masters yesterday.
And damn near gets an ACL blown out in 2019. This weekend almost didn't happen. It almost didn't happen. The other story that almost happened that would have completely changed everything, thanks to one of these crazy ass security guards.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
He just missed him, Chase.
Thought on that in a second. Do want to tell you real quick, Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Citto County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. You're getting local underwriting, understands your market, a leader in condo financing in Oxford, and the float-down option, so you can lock in the current rate. But if rates go down before you close, you just get the lower rate. 662-234-2704 or JLOWE@communitymtg.com.
Excited to invite you to Blue Delta Jeans on the Square, their 5-year anniversary party, Sunday, April the 28th. So a week from this Sunday, a week from Easter, Sunday, April 28th, on the Square. Music, complimentary Bloody Marys, complimentary Big Bad Breakfast Biscuits, and blue jeans. From 10 to 2, Blue Delta will launch their spring-summer line of denim and Holland and Sherry, and you can have them fitted just for you as well. It's a private event, but all of our listeners are invited. All you have to do is go to Blue Delta Jeans on Instagram and Twitter, go into their DMs, send them an RSVP, tell them you're coming, how many people, give them a phone number, or you can send them an email, info@bluedeltajeans.com. We told you that listening to us would pay off, and here you go. You get to be one of the cool kids. We'll see you on Sunday, April the 28th on the Square in Oxford for Blue Delta Jean's birthday party. Bloody Marys, biscuits, and blue jeans. Hard to beat that. The podcast also brought to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB gives you the comfort of home, all the benefits the big mega banks provide, all the technology and products you can want, all with the personal touch. When you call OUB, you speak directly with the live person. No 10 buttons to push, no 5-minute wait. OUB offers its customers the absolute best cash checking account. It's called Kasasa. And with Kasasa, OUB will pay customers 2.5% interest on their balances up to $50,000 and refund ATM fees nationwide. To learn more about OUB, check out liveoxfordbankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured.
Podcast is brought to you by G&M Pharmacy there on South Lamar in Oxford. They deliver local to the home or workplace in the Oxford area. They offer MedSync to get your medicine when you need it and to be on schedule every single day. You can find out more about that or transfer your medications over with 662-236-2222. Again, the Tyson Drugs in New Albany. G&M right here in Oxford on South Lamar. They also offer the CBD oil we've been telling you about for a while. That is available at G&M. Helps with multiple different things, including anxiety, depression, and more. So, again, 662-236-2222. Yeah, you know, the overzealous security guard is a creature that is in all walks of life. It is at sporting events in college. It is apparently at golf tournaments in Augusta, Georgia. It's the same dude or lady everywhere across the country. It just depends what event they can get in and work at is the only difference. Because I have been grabbed multiple times at Swayze Field because I have a backpack on. Needless to, other than the fact they've seen me about 700 times over the last 10 years. And the fact that I'm wearing a media pass, which does in fact allow that said backpack to be worn. And they'll grab you, like physically touching you and getting into your personal space and different things along those lines. And now, look, there are some good ones. The lady that checks my bag at baseball, I really like her.
Yeah, she does basketball,
She's great.
too. She's great.
No problem.
She's awesome. I like her so much.
The lady in our press box, fantastic. Like her. We have a security guard in our box. She cuts up with us, makes sure we have cookies if we want them. She's great. But then there's the other dude and the other one. And that was one of those in Augusta where, I mean, he missed him. But in all honesty, it was a foot and a half to potentially tearing everything in Tiger Woods' knee on the golf course.
The weekend,
it would have been the biggest scandal in sports history.
The weekend just, y'all.
He has the WD because some dude goes into his knee.
And the look on that guy's face, intensity. And
what was he doing?
Because nobody was trying to harm Tiger Woods. Did you watch the tournament? Did anyone have any awareness?
If there was one dude going at Tiger Woods, he would have been bludgeoned to death right there in the middle of that mob.
Everybody at the whole place outside of Francisco.
Any family members of Molinari and
I mean, Brooks Koepka lost, and I think he was kind of glad he lost. He's like, I kind of wish I could. I'm good. I'm sure Francesco Molinari would have liked for the day to go differently, and he's excused. Everybody else was Tiger. There was no one there even thinking of harming Tiger Woods. Good God, have some common sense.
Just chill. That's the word. Just
he's
chill.
Running at somebody like, oh, God, someone's going to get near him. They're not. No one. It was pure adulation.
They were one of the lucky SOBs that got in the front row to watch the shot and walk down the gallery.
Yeah, nobody. It just, oh, my God, that was so close. And it would have been, I can't even imagine.
We mentioned it last week. How nice was it, though, to watch all the footage and not see the phone videos constantly? You don't notice it until you notice it.
Until you look for not noticing.
Everybody's just watching the golf.
People just
They're just watching
with their
the
eyes.
tournament. Yeah.
Like
actually living the moment.
It was really cool.
It's a throwback in a good way.
I wrote about this in 10 Thoughts. So I did. Normally on Sunday mornings when I do like a ton of Peloton, I'll turn on a soccer game because it's 2 hours. Mm-hmm. And there was, when I turned my TV on up there, it was on the station for soccer. And I thought, no, I'm going to watch. And so I flipped, and I saw Woods and his group go off. And I'm riding, and I was pretty serious about my ride, and I was dripping wet and all that stuff. But I was keeping an eye on it. Mm-hmm. And then I met Jonathan Howard for a coffee. And he and I talked for a while, and we weren't on our phones. But right at the end, we both got on our phones for a minute. And he showed me the leaderboard where I think he was one back. And Campbell had a senior luncheon yesterday at my parents'. And so I went over there, got there about 12:20-ish. And I wasn't going to watch because it's my daughter, and I was trying to be a good dad. But I was kind of curious. And so I went back into my parents' bedroom and just turned it on just so I could kind of keep an eye on it. And right about that time is when he tied for the lead. Mm-hmm. And it was like, and you know me, man, I don't, the Masters could come and go. I don't have a problem with golf.
It wasn't about the golf.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with golf, but I usually just don't watch. So I don't really know what I'm watching. I don't know who they are. I'm whatever. It's about this guy, and he's got that look, and Tiger used to stalk the back nine. I didn't think he was stalking the back nine. There was a different look in his face. It was
here's what he did do that I thought was really interesting. And I don't know anybody asking about this yesterday.
He got in Molinari's line of vision.
Yeah, he kept getting in Molinari's eye line when he was teeing off. Completely legal. Hey, I'm here. Just heads up, guys. I'm here. I thought he at least was trying a few of his indirect tactics early in the round yesterday.
But I think this was later in the round, after Molinari was clearly not going to win, because the guy that was making a stalking at him was Koepka.
And Patrick Cantlay there for a minute.
Yeah.
Who no one in the world watching knew who the heck that was.
I had never heard of him.
Yeah.
I only knew of Koepka because I was.
And we've talked about him a lot.
We talked about him a lot. So anyway, I thought he was different. I thought stuff was in his head. I thought he was thinking a lot. He was enjoying it a little bit. He was. And I'm here. I'm here. This is what I've worked for, and I'm here. And
he said that he went in after he bogeyed 4 and 5. Said he went in the bathroom after the 5th hole and essentially cussed himself. So he just started yelling at himself in the mirror. And he goes, I came out and I felt better. He goes, it was after that point, it was okay. Let's just play. It's okay.
Yeah. And then the human part of it is what
happened after.
Yeah, when he wins, because when he won the first time and his dad was there and his dad shouldn't have been there because of the heart attack and stuff, we all loved that moment. But then Tiger dominated the sport to a place where,
frankly, he stopped appreciating them. You can't appreciate them the same way when you win 14 of them.
He kind of became an asshole.
Yeah. He was that, and he was a guy who, because of his life, never really even knew what to think or what to do. Everything was kind of an act with Tiger. It was, hey, this is what I'm sort of supposed to say or what I'm supposed to think. It took a lot of the getting torn down to pieces for him to kind of build back up and be his own dude in a lot of ways.
And everybody knows everything that's happened. Mm-hmm. And yet there's this redemption, and then when he wins, and everybody keeps focusing on his son, I thought the hug with his daughter was every bit as compelling as the hug with his son. And in some ways more because she's older. Mm-hmm. She probably remembers more of the disaster.
Yeah.
I thought the whole thing was so cool and so human that she was only there because her soccer team had gotten beat the day before. Hey, well, why don't you come up to the Masters? And they'd never been there. Those kids had never been there. They'd never seen their dad win. And look, maybe he's about to go on a run of 10 or 11 majors. But he does have a fused back.
It still feels like it's a time bomb.
And he's 43.
Mm-hmm.
And these other cats are all 20-something, and they're hitting the ball 8,000 yards.
Yeah.
And winning these damn things is going to be harder and harder. there's a chance, and I'm not cheering for this to be the case because I think golf's better, and yesterday certainly proved it. Golf's better when Tiger's in it.
Of course.
But there's a chance that's the last one. And if it was, he got that moment, and I think that moment solidified his legacy as it's kind of an example really for everybody. When your life just falls apart, it's not necessarily over.
Yeah, I was looking to see if any ratings had been put out yet. I mean, I'm sure they were.
I can't imagine what they are.
Yeah, I don't see any at the moment. Shockingly, the third round ratings were only the highest in the last 4 years. The third round ratings got outdrawn by Spieth's year in 15. But again, that wasn't yesterday because as a golf fan, that's what was so fun for a day is your sport being in that type of just relevancy on social media. And it's just Tiger. I mean, he doesn't move the needle. He is the needle.
Well, and Saturday, he wasn't at the leaderboard. He was stalking it. And
he got in position, but that was kind of
And the NBA games Saturday were just fantastic. They really were. I mean, every one of those games, like the Orlando, I know people go, no one's watching that. Well, I guarantee you people were watching it. Orlando, Philly, Toronto was a hell of a game. The Philly game was a really good game. There was a lot of good sports on to compete with it.
But it was this generation's Jack in 86. Just in general for sports and life, it was kind of one of those where are you now moments. Because even if he goes on and wins 20, this is still the redemption story. This is still the one. I mean, because I'll tell you what I did. So I think Eddie will forgive me. I skipped church yesterday, and I'm staying at home. We went and ate brunch where I knew I had a TV in front of me, so I'm following it on that. And then I had like 45 minutes to wait before I probably needed to be at the game. But I'm thinking, okay, if I wait till then, I'm going to miss Tiger on like 14, 15, 16. So I'm just going to go to the game early. So I go to the press box, and I'm sitting there, and a couple more people kind of had the same idea. So we just lined a bunch of chairs up kind of in the back of the baseball press box watching the TV, and we're on our phones and kind of following it. And, you know, it's where I don't know that I got emotional per se, but kind of like you watch kind of the end with your dad and different things,
Sure.
and it's kind of where I was because I
got emotional. I don't mind admitting it. I get emotional thinking about it.
I had two thoughts, and my first thought was my main Masters memory is to this point before yesterday was Phil winning in 04. I was a Phil Mickelson fan growing up. He was left-handed. I was left-handed. Whatever. I was not really a Tiger guy growing up. And I remember watching the 04 Masters with my dad, who's passed away, and it wasn't really a father-son moment except for my dad didn't care about sports at all. It was not a thing. He only cared because I cared. He tried to meet me there halfway. So I do have that Phil memory in 04 and that thing, and that was my other thing was I'm sitting in a baseball press box, which is fine, but I kind of thought I wish Carlene was a little older. Just a little older to be able to explain some significance of this because she'll tell people in 20 years if they ask, well, I was 3. I have no idea. My dad was a huge golf fan. I mean, that was it.
Of course.
But so I thought I hate it for the parents that aren't able to kind of relay that to their kids if it's something they care about, something along those lines because, you know, I do think there's a lot of life lessons in it. I thought there's perseverance all in it. And then, frankly, it was just a freaking cool moment. I mean, forget all else. It was just viscerally, it was really neat. So
what's the one good thing about sports? Sports can unify in a way that, because in the end, does it really matter who won a golf tournament?
No, it's a bunch of millionaires hitting the ball around.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. In the end, when 80,000 people go to a football game, does it really matter who wins? It really doesn't. My point is that the moments and the memories, kind of along the lines of the nostalgia of Masters and stuff, is that people will remember who they watched that with and stuff. It's like I get that question all the time. If you could change something in sports, before the Cubs won the World Series, I would have always said, "Oh yeah, I'd change the Bartman game. I'd let Alou catch the ball because the Cubs would have gone to the World Series, and maybe they beat the Yankees, and maybe they don't. I don't know." But for me personally, if the Cubs win the 03 World Series,
you don't have the 16.
The 16 World Series, which all I'll remember about that the irony of it, the proof of what you're saying, all I'll ever remember about that night, ever, is two things. One, when Rajay Davis hit the home run off Chapman to tie the game, and Carson just lost it. And I had to flip and quit being a Cub fan and be a dad. And then I'll remember when it ended at midnight or whatever, on a school night, my girls who don't care were celebrating the Cubs winning the World Series, and they were celebrating because they were happy for me. They didn't really get it. I mean, they got it. They understood it. But they were happy for me. We're out in the front yard spraying champagne on each other at midnight. And that's what you'll remember about it. And so what I thought was so cool yesterday was, like, my dad, he doesn't watch professional golf, but he knows who Tiger is. He knows his story, and he was cheering for him. I was cheering for him. And then I was so happy for Tiger's kids.
Yeah.
Because they're going to grow up and they're going to hear all this stuff. But now, he clearly is a great dad.
Yeah,
and he loves his kids. And, yeah, he made mistakes. Stuff happens. Life happens. But they get a really cool moment with him that they'll remember when he's long gone. Or certainly when he's no longer winning majors. They'll remember that. That'll be a cool – like the son was almost shy about it. You know, he knew there was this incredible moment. And it's when you saw that to that little boy, Tiger Woods is not Tiger Woods.
His dad.
He's dad, man. He's dad. That was the cool part. To me, that was the cool part.
Yeah, the hugs were the –
man, the rest of it, it's fine. It's great. I'm glad his back worked out. I'm glad he got to go back and do what he loves to do, and great for him. I was happy for Tiger Woods.
Because here's the thing with Tiger, because he wasn't during his huge run and during that 10-year stretch. He's also kind of one of the guys now.
Yeah.
He's dropped his guard down to where he's one of the dudes.
Said that. I'm so glad you said that, because the other thing that really struck me yesterday, because I don't know who these people are. Yeah. And so, but I noticed Bubba Watson and some of those dudes who stuck around. Koepka stuck around.
Yeah.
Some of those dudes who stuck around to congratulate him and to congratulate his mom and to congratulate his kids. I don't know that happened years ago.
Alan Shipnick, who writes for golf.com now, I think. Everybody moves around so much, but whatever.
Yeah.
His story yesterday, his entire story, is really well done. He's one of the best golf writers in the world. He did nothing but sat in the clubhouse and walked through the different rooms where all the other players were, watching their reactions to Tiger, was his story yesterday. And the players know two things. They know that Tiger's, frankly, a better dude now than he was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And they know, too, they know what he's done for them, the money he's made them, the way purses have changed. Tiger Woods won a lot of money yesterday, $2 million, something like that. His first one in 97, he won $400,000. So he's changed and I get inflation, but that's like 160% anyway.
No, sure.
He's changed the game for them. Every one of them had some version of, hey, I really wanted to win, but if I couldn't win, I want to see this.
Yeah.
We're for this guy.
Yeah, it was like Max Scherzer's comments about Bryce Harper the other day. Like, do you feel animosity towards him or whatever? He's like, no, I don't feel animosity. I'm glad that he stuck to it and got his value, because that helps other players and stuff. But I just thought there was a human part of that too, that some of these guys that he's changed. I mean, this is a guy that, for a lot of these young guys, was their freaking hero.
Oh, well, yeah, a lot of these guys he's playing against now, Rory McIlroy, playing golf because of Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
They had his posters up in their bedrooms.
Yeah, and I just thought I thought the scene.
They're getting to live out some sort of kid-like dream in a way out here now.
Yeah.
Like there's that Rory McIlroy from a few years ago, that Ripple Nike commercial where it shows him growing up watching Tiger throughout his life, and then they finally tee off together at the end of the commercial, and it's like, because we're all just kids at one point dreaming about this crap, and then you get to be out there and go, oh, that's
yeah. I can't remember who the dude that got interviewed was. I thought CBS did a really good job, by the way. The female reporter was interviewing one of the guys who
Amanda Balionis.
I'd never heard of the guy she was interviewing, but it was his first major that he had played, I think, or his first Masters, and he played pretty well.
Okay.
And I don't know. They were asking him about it, and he was like, yeah, and I get to see all this Tiger stuff, and it's kind of really cool. And he played really well yesterday, and he said when he finished, he told his caddy, hey, we can win here.
Okay.
We proved that we can win here.
Yeah.
And we get to see all this Tiger stuff in there. And it was like, yeah, that was the cool part. To me, that was all that the players in the moment got it. Like Koepka heard the roar, and he's like, yeah, that roar is different than the roar for me. No, it was Dustin Johnson.
Okay.
Dustin Johnson said, I heard roars, but I knew that was a different roar than the roar I
They
get.
can keep track of Tiger versus everybody else.
Yeah, and you could tell he thought, this is really cool.
Well, it was always the running joke with this, as though everybody, they always ask the players, hey, do you guys want to play against Tiger, Tiger when he's back? And they're like, oh, yeah, we do. And they're like, I don't know if you do or not, guys. Like, you might not want that. That's.
Well, the odds are now that at 43.
Yeah, he's not the same dude at 25.
He's probably not going to go on a 6-year run here.
No.
Probably not. I mean, look at the bodies on these other cats.
Yeah, they're better athletes every day.
Yeah, they're just like.
Dustin Johnson is a tremendous athlete. Brooks Koepka, Tony Finau, tremendous athletes.
Yeah, Finau guy's good, by the way.
Yeah, hits it 8 miles.
Yeah.
Great story, too. You'd really like him if you looked into his background. So.
And his swing's just kind of like,
well, I mean, I think
he has no effort in it at all.
it's like a half swing, and it's
it's just kind of.
Well, Molinari had made one bogey in I think 60 holes. He's a machine. I mean, Molinari, potentially the best ball striker, maybe the best player in the world over the last year.
And if he doesn't put the ball in the water,
that's where
right
I'm going.
there.
You do wonder how much maybe some of just the Tiger stuff finally got to him in the group a little bit.
Sure. And once he made a mistake, he went, "Oh God."
Yeah, you press, and then you.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you're human. I get you're out there, and that's what you do for a livelihood. But you're surrounded by a throng, and no one in that crowd is for you.
But he handled it for 9-10 holes.
Yeah,
He was fine.
Yeah. And
I thought for a little while, hey, this dude's just going to.
Well, the wind, not to get too golf minutiae as we go into another break, the wind on 12 was really picking up. And the way it was spiraling, the players didn't know it because Koepka hit it in the water maybe, or at least Poulter did, Webb Simpson did, and then Molinari did. And Tiger saw that and thought, I'm going to grab another club. He actually got really helped out by Molinari hitting first because everybody was misjudging it. He said he had 147 to cover the bunker, and he was trying to hit it 150, but he was realizing that when Koepka went in the water, and Koepka hit a 9-iron, and Tiger goes, well, I know Brooksy, he calls everybody whatever, he puts SY on everything. He goes, I know Brooksy hit a 9-iron. He goes, well, if he can't get a 9 there, I sure can't get a 9 there. So let me grab the 8. Yeah. Let me just get over the bunker. So,
and that's kind of my point about going on the run. He knows the old Tiger knew, I can beat all you guys. Yeah. I'm better than you. Now he knows.
He's got to plot along the golf course a little bit.
I got to think a lot more than I used to have to think.
I got to think, and I better have great hands.
Because I'm not going to win the 3-point shooting contest here. I'm not going to win the dunk contest.
Well, and when he first came back, that was kind of his thing. It's like, hey, let me try to drive with these guys and have this ego. And it's like, dude, chill.
It's over.
Yeah,
that part's over.
Yeah. You're not going to hit the ball farther than Rory at this point.
No, and there's some 19-year-old kid coming along who, when he's 23 and you're 47, you're not going to be able to do the physical things he can do. I mean, that's what's fascinating to me is when people say, what do you think? Well, the odds are that was maybe one of the last 2 or 3 times we'll get to see it.
Yeah.
But who knows? He might go on a 2-year run here where it just, now that the ketchup's coming out of the jar, he might just go wild. Who knows? We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, going to that 1 second first tee about Mastercut's Lawn and Landscape. You know that they provide premium lawn care throughout northern Mississippi. Now they offer a lot more as well. They got custom playgrounds, retaining walls, pools, decks, lighting, whatever you need for your outdoor living space, between paver patios, forestry mulching, and much more. They planted some hydrangeas for me here in the last few weeks. Give them a call. Get a free quote, 662-607-7773. You also do it online at gomastercuts.com where you see all their different options. Again, just call them, see how they can help you take care of that part of your yard and home. 662-607-7773.
The podcast also brought to you by John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. Whatever you're thinking about, maybe you're inspired to go on a golf trip now that golf is so much being discussed. Whether you're thinking about an anniversary trip, late honeymoon, whatever the case may be, who knows? Whatever the case may be, get in touch with John. Before you try to do it yourself, let him give you some options that you would not find on your own. He's part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners, allows him to supply his clients with added values and unique benefits that are simply not available to other travelers. So what you do is you get in touch with him, you give him some parameters, give him a budget, and he'll give you some options. You don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387, or send him an email, jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast. It's a podcast that's also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles, great lease deals. They'll take terrific care of you there at Grenada Nissan. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. And we've mentioned my 10 Thoughts a little bit. They're up at rebelgrove.com. They're sponsored by Harry Alexander. Harry is an Oxford-based RE/MAX Legacy Realty agent. He is also a big part of Savannah Square. It's a new 9-acre development, 0.7 of a mile from the Oxford downtown square. It's conveniently located east of North Lamar, just a short stroll from the Midtown Shopping Center, from a number of your favorite Oxford establishments. Savannah Square will initially consist of 32 standalone detached structures ranging in size from about 1,100 square feet to about 2,400 square feet. You can check out the model home at 215 Williams Street. These homes have wonderful layouts, impeccable finishes. You can inspect them at the model, get in touch with Harry, take a look at the model home, get more information about this great new development while they're still available. You can view more at SavannahSquareOxford.com or give Harry a call or a text at 662-801-5621.
So huge numbers coming out of yesterday from a rating standpoint, just starting to kind of come out. However, the early morning hurt a lot of the early stuff because of the start time, especially Pacific and Mountain, but it picked up big throughout the day. Your top 5 markets were very, very Florida-based. Greenville, Spartanburg, and Asheville, number 1. Minneapolis, St. Paul, number 2. Fort Myers, Naples, number 3. West Palm Beach, number 4. And Jacksonville, number 5. Cincinnati, Dayton, Nashville, Cleveland, and Tampa rounding out the top 10 for your markets yesterday. Ironically, Miami dead last of the top 56 markets.
Yeah, it's just a Sunday. There's a lot to do.
Well, it's just funny that West Palm is there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just some of that part that's kind of funny to me. But yeah, Tiger now 3 away from Jack. Look, that's still a long road to 3 more majors with the talent out there today. He does get a lot of course help. Looking at this year, the U.S. Open goes to Pebble Beach. He's won there. The PGA goes to Bethpage. He's won there. I think next year the British Open goes to the Old Course. Got a shot from a course standpoint. Got a shot. So, just got to stay healthy. Got to hope, as we mentioned, got to hope the bomb doesn't go off.
Sure.
That's the question.
I mean, I hope he keeps winning. I think it's a great story.
Well, he's great for golf, and yes, there's no doubt he gets more youth involved. He helps all those things even today, even as a balding 43-year-old. But as soon as he's gone, golf has a hard time staying there. It still falls back off to where it is, which is in a very healthy place, but it's not Tiger. I mean, when Tiger does this at the Valspar in a few weeks, Twitter's not going to be ablaze like it was yesterday.
No, I mean, golf kind of needs Tiger also, now that he's in the spotlight, to talk about a lot of these guys. They need to establish some personalities.
And there are personalities. It's just getting it to the mainstream is so hard. It's so hard. I mean, again, they're incredibly open. The players do tons of podcasts. I mean, you can find out tons on golfers if you want to, but it's just so niche. It's never going to be this main, just, hey, we're going to lead SportsCenter with this kind of thing. For whatever that's worth now. I don't even know if SportsCenter is a big deal. I don't know if anybody watches or doesn't.
I don't think anyone does.
I think everybody finds their own niche programming in every sport, other than the NFL.
I'm telling you, man, I'm literally more and more convinced of this every day that
it's NFL and college football.
The last mainstream sport is the NFL, and when it, and I do think it's when, not if. When it drops off to niche level, I think from that point forward, everything will be niche.
Yeah.
And when I say that, it might be 50 years.
But I mean, which is okay. it's not
fine.
a problem.
No, it's just sports. It doesn't really matter.
Pick the one you like, and because there's so much media coverage, there's so many podcasts. Thank you guys for listening. That it's like you can deep dive into anything now. Anything.
Well, 20 years ago, you couldn't deep dive into golf the way that you have.
I mean, frankly, ESPN, the largest media outlet in the world, it's the worst for golf coverage. They give you just the real pillow talk, basic level crap.
Because if it's not Tiger, it doesn't move their needle.
So they write just some. Well, I mean, like, and they received criticism yesterday. Guy you and I both like, which was a mistake on their part. They have Kevin Van Valkenburg. They have multiple golf writers that are very, very good. They sent Mark Schlabach yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, bad look. Bad look.
And you know, and
for the golf fan, bad look.
And Mark's become their golf writer, but he's so new at it that
he doesn't have the nuance that the golf writers have to tell the Tiger story from the years. And years
because
and
he's
years
been
and
covering
years.
college football for all those years.
Yeah, I saw a decent amount of criticism yesterday of ESPN for that. But my point, that really doesn't matter. My point being, ESPN is going to give you the real base level, but then you can deep dive into corners of the internet for as much as you like. Somewhere there's a feature on Tony Finau from yesterday if you'd like to find it.
It's like basketball. You can just watch it from a level, or if you want to be I mean, if I had just hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, there's literally nothing about the NBA that I couldn't find out. There are some incredible podcasts.
Yeah, I have today. I need to run through 4 podcasts to stay on schedule.
Yeah, it's hard to do.
I don't have time.
No,
but that's that. To listen to what I typically would listen to after yesterday, I have 4 podcasts. That's 6 hours.
Yeah, that's
I mean, I guess I could walk around doing all my other stuff with just headphones in, listening to podcasts nonstop, but I'm not really listening to it. They're just in. So, crazy day in sports. Cool day in sports. Ole Miss and Memphis tomorrow from Swayze Field. Ole Miss gets back at it against the Tigers. I think it's a 6:30 start. Whatever, we'll figure it out. Maybe some basketball recruiting news in the next week or so coming up. There's some recruiting on the site at rebelgrove.com, and we'll continue the podcast this week. Also, got maybe some neat stuff coming from a podcast standpoint. Maybe some stuff for you as well. So we'll get to that hopefully soon. Trying to work out some final details and whatnot. But I'm pretty excited about it. Pretty happy with things, how they are turning out to this point. So we'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks.